Today we are in Connoly's Mercedes in Galway to check out the new Mercedes-Benz E-Class, which has some beautiful lights at the rear, a lovely interior and an all new front grille. And we're also going to be going for a little bit of a drive and talking about 5 things you need to know about the new Mercedes-Benz E-Class. So first things first, driving. Now I will say this particular car is a hybrid. So right now I'm using the 13 odd kilowatt hour battery, and it is so smooth, and it makes sense for a car like this around town to just drive in electric mode. And what's more is right now I have about 75% battery and 79 kilometers on the battery alone, which is really impressive. Now suspension wise, as you can imagine, it is extremely smooth. It just wafts along the roads, and in terms of the turning circle, actually pretty decent. It feels like a little bit of a smaller car, and I actually think an E-Class is a nice size for a car, because sometimes things like S-Classes and large SUVs can just be a little bit too wide on Irish roads. Number 2 is going to be prices and specifications. So prices start at about 79,000 euros, and there are 3 specs: a Vanguard exclusive and AMG line. And this specific one behind us, well, this is about 90,000 euros. Next up, let's talk about engines. So there is a huge amount of them, and my best tip would be to go and visit your local dealer. You can hit a link up there. Now, to start with, let's go with the E200, which is a 2-litre petrol engine. There is also an E220D, which is a 2-litre diesel engine. Now, if you want a bit more power, there is also an E450 and an E450D, which is 3-litre petrol and diesel engines. Here we have the E300DE, which is a plug-in hybrid diesel, which is actually quite an unusual car, but could be perfect for someone who does small little commutes around town, but then also takes on long motorway journeys. You get kind of the best of both worlds. But as I said, it is quite complicated, so always go down to your dealer and get the best insight from them. So on the interior, it is absolutely exquisite is the word I'm going to use. Genuinely, if you close my eyes, put me in the car, I would actually think I'm inside an S-Class. The interior has really gotten so strong in the E-Class. To begin with, this lovely steering wheel, and has everything you need kind of on haptic feedback. So here on the left, you can control some of the menu, the volume. Here on the right, it's more to do with your driving, so your cruise control, things like that. And then you have a screen up here in front of you with pretty much everything you need. It's actually, I suppose, a digital screen, but has a kind of retro style to it, which is really, really nice. Now over here you have your main infotainment screen. It's absolutely massive. You can actually get, I think it's called a super screen in the E-Class and a hyper screen in the S-Class, and that can then broaden it the whole way there. But you've got your big apps, and you can also obviously have your Apple CarPlay set up there. One cool thing is you can actually get zoom on this, and I think you can get a camera and basically legitimately do a zoom call in your car. Obviously you have to be stopped, but it is quite nice. And just the fit and finish and the smell being a high-end Mercedes, it is just unbelievable. It has this really nice, comfortable feeling and just gives you a nice, relaxed drive. Now, once you do get it out on the open road, the beauty of a hybrid is that you get the diesel or the petrol power and the electric motor, and that means altogether you get over 300 brake horsepower. It's a little slow to react compared to a full-blown EV because it needs that engine to fire up. However, it does pull very hard when you want it to. But as a whole, when you're in the driving seat, you do get an element of peace and quiet. You can turn on RT lyrics and just chill out and enjoy a nice calm drive. And last but not least is Practicality, and we'll begin that in the boot. So it is quite big, 540 litres. However, if you go for a hybrid, it's actually a little bit smaller, 370 litres. However, there's absolutely no load lip here, which is quite handy. And you can fold the seats here at a push of a button, which is really practical. As a whole, it is a decent shape, and you should get your golf clubs in absolutely no problem. But let's also check out the rear. Also, this one is a manual tailgate. However, obviously you can get a fully electric tailgate. Actually, one thing I do want to point out is it kind of goes up like an electric one. So in the rear, it is actually relatively spacious. This seat in front of me is pretty far back, and I still have tons of knee room, and it's actually got a nice little shape around your knees. Loads of head space, and the seat itself is quite comfortable. There's some good support underneath the back of your thighs, and there's a lovely armrest here too which you can just put, I suppose a phone or something in there. And it's just a nice place to sit. Obviously it's no S-Class, but it is really good. And also one thing I have to appreciate is the ease of access for the ISOFIX points, which is handy if you've got baby seats. So as a whole, the new E-Class, it is absolutely lovely. I love the new tail lights with the little Mercedes emblem in them. The interior is absolutely gorgeous and the front grille is brilliant. Now, if you would like to know any more, then feel free to ask in the comments, and also you can check out where your nearest dealer is there. And a massive thank you to Connoly's Mercedes in Galway for having us test drive this lovely E-Class. If you'd like any more information, head to Dundeel.ie, and thank you so much for watching.